Hello. In this video, I am gonna make a new evolving process family from scratch using this is just a normal Windows, and the ones I usually use are written in Emacs, Lisp, and Python, just because that's how I felt like putting them together. But they're not, that makes them a mystery to the vast majority of the world. But evolving processes to survive, they don't really need a custom infrastructure like that. I mean, it helps, of course, but this is going to be fun. I'm just going to make one here. For example, this is just an example made out of Windows, and I made this weeks ago, but I didn't do anything. All right, so this is going to be the first process. I call the one that starts out. I start with seed. I might be mixing metaphors, but I'm just starting with a little thing, and then it goes from there. So seed kind of makes sense. If you can think of better evolving process terminology than I can, that would be helpful. So I thought, all right, I'm just gonna use a notepad, I guess, and I forgot to plug in the keyboard. I think I have a keyboard here. It's gonna be kind of annoying to reach to this keyboard on the computer. This video is gonna be slow, sorry. I didn't plan this out I didn't already plan out how exactly this family's gonna work and make this like a slick video where it's like, you could just do it like this. I'm gonna do it. And hopefully this will be a good family that will be useful to me. What do you think I should do with it? I guess you have no idea because you don't know what evolving processes are. What are evolving processes? I don't know, man. They're like processes that evolve. I'm just plugging in the keyboard. Alright, there we go. Processes. So, this is gonna be, processes are, you know how artificial life evolves? Well, it doesn't really, because it's random. And I made a change to it, which is to make the mutations on purpose. It's great. It's like artificial life, except the mutations. You don't have mutations just like randomly. Is there a way I can zoom? Yeah, all right. I don't really use Word. I don't really use I don't really use Notepad that much. Wait, how do I thought it said Control Plus. No? Alright. I don't really use Notepad much. Control Plus, that's what it says. Alright. But, it doesn't matter. Does not matter what you use. Here, do you know how to use Notepad? Do you use Notepad? What do you use? Control Plus. What if I do this plus? Yeah, they mean this. They mean the numpad plus. All right. So I'm gonna make it so you can see it. All right. That's just nonsense. All right. I'm gonna type nonsense that you don't understand, but particular nonsense you don't understand. I mean, you're gonna understand all of this, and this is gonna be great, and you're gonna know just how to make your own evolving processes, and you're gonna know why it matters. All right. First step, mutate. Wait, what? Mutate. Because you gotta mutate them. Please, this is a good change that I added sometime along in my development of evolving processes. I used to just say do that, and then at some point I changed to saying please, that's a good change. So there, you can use that. Now that I've discovered process politeness, you should also make your processes polite. Please mutate this process. So, and then I'm going to leave a few space for me to say about mutating the process. And then copy. This is the bit you gotta... I'm making the seed from which this family will grow. And so it just needs all of the... I think... Wait, alright. Yeah, copy process. And then please... Alright, so... This isn't gonna... I'm just gonna do the mutating and copying by hand. And then I'm gonna make this an infinite rolling checklist style. I think that makes sense. So loop checklist, you call it. Please copy this checklist. Wait. Notepad sucks. Is there word wrap in this thing? So maybe I should use Word. Should I use Word? Please copy this checklist. Please copy the please copy the version of this checklist below, again below itself, so that this checklist continues in an infinitely unrolling loop. Alright. Because that's what... And then we need a second copy of the checklist. So I'm going to copy that. And then if there's a second copy... This isn't like how you do evolving processes. This is a shape called an infinitely rolling checklist shape. Alright. And then I should put something here that's like beginning of checklist. Wait. Yeah. Checklist begins here. Or it'll be... That's something I learned years ago or whatever, is that it's less confusing if there's something that says checklist begins here. Alright. Is that what it is? Checklist begins here, how it should say it? I don't know. Doesn't matter. We can we can change it later, but the thing is you can't, because there's going to be a zillion copies of checklist begins here, and you can't change all of them. So sometimes it's hard to change things. Okay. Checklist begins here. Loop checklist. And so then I guess that's done. Is that done? I don't know. And then I sort of mutated it because I made it. And I'm going to say that counts. I made it. Doesn't that count as mutating it? And so I just sign it MJ every time, even though it's always me. I don't know. Maybe then if you signed something else, then you... Alright, wait, so that's what we got in our process so far. This is the process. Let's get this checklist. Seed process, and then the checklist, and then it's like, what should we do? Oh, it's time to copy the process. Time to copy this process, which the way I decided you're gonna do the way that I decided to do that in these is to make... wait. How do I open a new window? Alright. I'm gonna make it so that there's folders for all the different things that they can do, and then this one is gonna I'm gonna copy it. Wait, what should I say about doing copying before the copying? Or because otherwise I'll have to say on both sides that I did the copying. Okay. Well, I don't know. I don't know how this works. I'm making it up now. I'm about to copy this. Is this how I do this? Okay. Now. Then it's going to go to loop checklist, I guess. It's where it's going to go next.
Rachel Cook.
What? Rachel Cook?
Something for everyone. Hi there, 9key. This week I shared
That's a message for 9key.
recipes. All very hearty
No worries. It's not a message for you. They were just talking to 9key. Okay. So I thought of putting here, loop checklist. that goes to loop checklist is because that's what step it's on. Okay. Copy. Paste. And now I'm gonna have to like have change name, or else they're gonna just be named dash copy dash copy dash copy. That's not good names. I should add name. Alright, so hey. So now they all left this seed folder, and they're not going back, so I guess I could delete that. Bye. And the only thing that's happening is loop checklist. And these are both on the step loop checklist. Loop checklist. And then you just, if you copy the checklist, it can blow itself. An infinite rolling checklist, I've done that a bunch of times, and that works great. Because then you get, the checklist is down there, and done. That's the end of that loop, and then we're back at mutate. And you've got like this record of what happened before up here, and then you've got the future. Like if we're gonna mutate, and we're gonna change what happens in the future. And I think I want to make like naming. Where should I put name? Name this process. So I'm gonna put that in like in the future. Name this process. Please give this process. Please give this process a name, and change the name of its folder to reflect. To reflect its new name. Sorry, I was dropping my keyboard. So then there's the name this process step in the next step of in the next loop of the checklist. And then below itself. Please copy the version of this checklist, the clean version below of this checklist, again below itself. Is that clear? I don't know. Maybe many generations from now that will be phrased clearly. Alright. And then I've made some mutations, so there we go. I'm done. And added names. Yay. Need names. Now it's time for copy. But I don't have to copy it now. I can also, what I can do is, I can save this, and then this seed process copy is in loop checklist. But if I can move it instead to copy. Copy, and then as I keep doing this, there's going to be a bunch of them in copy and wherever. This one's here. It's confusing how it's named copy because it's a copy, and it's also in copy because it's time to make another copy. But this one is boring. That one is just boring now because it doesn't. I made those cool changes, and this one doesn't have those cool changes. And sometimes things are just old and boring. So the thing I do is I make some place called, you could just delete it and forget about it.
Join Milk Street for just $1. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Make offer ends soon. But what I do is make deselecting, and then if I don't like something and I want it to not be in the way, this wasn't really in the way, not really a problem, but I thought that was boring, so I moved it to deselecting. Done. Then so we can see, what do I have in loop checklist? Nothing. Okay, what is there in copy that needs copying? This needs copying. Okay, seed process copy needs copying. Copies of copies, copies of copies, copies of copies. That's some Steve Reich. Copy. And then where do they start? Wait, I'm copying it, and then it goes to, name this process. Right? Or no, they go to loop checklist. Okay, it goes to loop checklist, and then I'll go start over the checklist and go to name this process. Copies of copies, copies of copies are machines. Wait, am I supposed to say here before I copy? It doesn't matter. I don't know, you could do it any way you want to do it. Maybe it doesn't need a step called copy. Maybe something else could, It could be worked into it could be like mutate and copy. That could make sense. I don't know. Or it makes sense to write a program and have the program do the copying. Well, you don't need that. I just have it copied by, I think by Emacs. I don't even know who does the copying in the other family, because I just wrote something and it just does it. Okay. I don't know. I'm going to say you're copying, and you find out where it goes next. It's going to go to loop checklist after copying. And then go copy and paste there. And this one also goes to loop checklist. So change name. No. What? Place or skip files. No. Wait. Seed process copy. It's in copy. I don't know. Windows sucks. Copies of copies. This one. Here, alright. Never mind that one. and then I'll just copy this one, and then I'll say copy. Copy. Right there. Copy. Okay. Copies of copies. Copies of copies. This doesn't, I can't really make a video long enough to demonstrate why this matters. Or I've done this for years and I haven't figured out yet whether it matters. But now it's time for name this process. Let's see. I don't have an idea for a name for it right now, so I'm just gonna put it into name this process. Copies of copies. Cut, and so it's useful to have a program sorted into the things for you, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, that's not like the main difficulty. It's easy enough to copy and paste things. How about happy silly process? Okay, I'm going to name this one happy silly process. Happy silly process. There. Now that one has a name. And I'll say here how I named it. I named it happy silly process. Obviously you could do this a zillion ways and it would result in an following process. Do you see how this, you do anything that's anything shaped vaguely, anything like this, with any sort of copying and mutating and any sort of just going along and doing, and anyway, and it'll come out as an evolving process every time. Now this is going to mutate. Happy silly process is going to mutate, which I haven't made that yet, so I'm making it. But mutate, and then you can make. One thing I learned is to make specific mutate folders for the different things that I've got going on. So I can make like mutate a process that has a name or whatever. That's all they do so far. But you could have like mutate a process that whatever, and then mutate whatever kind of process, and then that'll give you a way to. So now there's just that there. And then the other process is it's here. But if you keep doing it, eventually there'd be a bunch. I could make there be a bunch just by saying like make 10 copies. I could change copy to make 10 copies. Should I change copy to make 10 copies? I'm not gonna. It's too many copies. I don't want 10 copies. I don't want 10 copies before there's anything cool in them. No, I'll make it so there's something cool and then they'll make 10 copies. That'll make sense. Yeah. Copies of copies. Okay, loop checklist. Done. Now this process also, this was the new one that needs a name. So I'm gonna move, it's named seed process copy. That's not a very good That's not a very good name. So I'm going to cut it and put it in name this process. Boop. And then they'll pile up in whichever step is most difficult, mostly. Some of them become precious, the piles, because you want them. You want ones that are prepared and ready, and others become just a pile of things that need, like, mutate is one of the hardest ones. That's why Happy Silly Process is there, waiting for a new idea where to go. And just make tiny little mutations. That's my suggestion. It's fine to make a little mutation. Small changes add up. That's how to make that's maybe not why to make an evolving process family using just Windows and stuff, but that's how you can do it if you want. Evolving processes are easy to make. I just made some. Maybe I'll come back and show you this family later after it does something. Or maybe I'll make this a whole series of incredibly long videos where I show the entire process of going through the process of processing these processes until they do something. Who knows? Okay. Welcome to this processes. Let me know if you make some and if they make sense to you and if you like them. Because I invented this. I invented evolving processes like this that work like this, and there's lots of evolving processes naturally in the world. It's just something that happens anytime we copy and change something. But this is a particular way of doing it on purpose. Thanks for watching. See you later.